And by the end of it, Allison.
Feel there. I'm hoping it's going to be.
Yeah. Good evening. Welcome to the January 10th, 2022 meeting of the Stillwater City Council. This time I will call the meeting to order and ask that you all stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Item 3 is the consent docket. Councilors, questions, comments, or a motion on the consent docket?
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. The vote of 4-0, the consent docket is approved. Public comment on items not scheduled for public hearings. I think we have one speaker signed up for that, and it was Mr. Alan Lovelace.
Thank you. Good evening. So I am the chairman for the Vibrant Stillwater Steering Group, and Vibrant Stillwater is a coalition of citizens and leaders who have come together to focus on making Stillwater stronger, healthier, and more vibrant through a shared vision and action plan. Our goal is to see a citizen-inspired vision, get the community more involved in the process, and be intentional about our community's development. And that's why I'm here tonight. One of the first actions of the Vibrant Stillwater Group was conducting a quality of life survey, and the number one issue identified by the citizens were the conditions of our roads. The active transportation study that is under consideration tonight is a great example of a good public process to ensure that our community is adopting sound development ideas that are based on best practices, creates a community that attracts and retains talent, and builds economic opportunity. There's many bright spots in Stillwater. Block 34 is a great example of placemaking to improve our quality of life. The upcoming 51 State Highway project is an important development for our community, and we applaud the city for working intentionally and proactively to identify how 6th Avenue can become a critical artery that builds a sense of community, fosters healthy lifestyles, and improves our built environment. At the end of the study, there's the focus on implementation, and we appreciate that. Stillwater will build vibrancy only through intentional action that builds upon itself. To quote the study, fully implemented, this plan will transform the community of Stillwater. However, because of municipal financial realities, limited funding opportunities, property acquisitions, and the need for private-public partnerships, the overall vision is guaranteed to not occur simultaneously. Now, we definitely understand that, and the recommendations contained in this study are not a magic bullet. We understand some components are designed to set a vision, not a building plan, and we understand that this is a marathon and not a sprint. But the adoptions of these recommendations into the comprehensive plan is absolutely the right start for becoming the Stillwater we envision. So on behalf of Vibrant Stillwater, I would ask the council to strongly support the adoption of Resolution 7A on the agenda as an important opportunity to build a strong, healthier, and more vibrant Stillwater. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lovelace. We appreciate the work that the Vibrant Stillwater Group is doing in our community as well. All right, that takes us to item 6, public hearings. 6A is receive public comment regarding a request from KMR Development LLC for the closing of right-of-way located on North Rogers Drive. This is CC-22-01. Did we have good notice on this item?
Yes, the planning department confirms notice on this item.
Thank you. Mr. Moore.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Good evening. Brady Moore, Chief Performance Innovation Officer, presenting tonight for our Planning Department. The first case before you is a right-of-way closing for Parkview Estates, Section 10. This area map shows the subject site. It's the hash pattern polygon. In the red outline area that highlights upcoming Parkview Estates, Section 10. This section of land sits just west of the previously undeveloped part of North Rogers Drive, just south of Richmond Road and Richmond Elementary School. Here in this aerial map, you can see the highlighted subject site again. This right-of-way was originally platted as a street stub out in a Parkview Estates Section 5. This is a zoomed-in view of the 5,731 square foot section of right-of-way. The subject area will become part of multiple lots in the new Section 10 subdivision process. And with that, the applicant's engineer, Josh Powers, is here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Brady. Counselors, any questions for staff at this point? Brady, you may not have any answer to this question at this point, but I did receive an email about concerns with the HOA in the area. Does this have anything to do with the HOA?
That is for a planning commission item for tomorrow night's planning commission.
All right.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right, at this time, I will open the public hearing. We have someone here to speak on behalf of the applicant.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Powers, 216 West 6th Avenue. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer them. It's pretty straightforward, right-of-way closing. Looks like it was dedicated many, many years ago, and now it's changing, so.
It's hard to imagine what street that was going to
I
connect
was
to.
wondering the same thing. I was like, where was this going?
Do you want to see something cool?
I do. Yeah.
We did some homework, and right there we found the 1973 original plat for Parkview Estates today upstairs. And you can see this was some imaginary road going over the creek into what is now the golf course, but that's why they closed off, or they had a right-of-way section right there
Huh.
planned. But
The
as
golf
you can-
course wasn't there at the time?
No, it was
Really?
1973.
Wow.
All right. Any questions for the applicant, counselors?
Okay, thank
Appreciate you being here. I don't have anyone else signed up for the public hearing on this item, so I'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask Brady, there's no planning commission recommendation on this, correct, Brady?
That's correct.
Staff's recommendation is to approve.
Yes, this is to approve the right-of-way as requested along North Rogers Drive.
Counselors, further questions, or is there a motion?
Motion to close a 5,731-foot section of the right-of-way along a platted section of North Rogers Drive in Parkview Estates, Section 10.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this request. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, that item is approved. Next up is item 6B, receive public comment regarding a request for a specific use permit to allow a medical marijuana dispensary at property addressed as 524 West 6th Avenue, CC-22-02. Did we have good notice on this item?
Yes, we do.
Mr. Moore.
Okay, the second case before you this evening is for a specific use permit to allow a medical marijuana dispensary at 524 West 6th Avenue. This area map shows the subject site highlighted by the hatch pattern. This property sits on the north side of 6th Avenue, just to the east of Knobloch. The aerial map here shows the subject site and the shared commercial parking to the east and to the north of the building, and this is adequate parking for this use. This street view image again shows the location for the specific use permit. It was formerly location of Firehouse Subs, Quiznos, and when I was in college, played against sports. Remember that? All right. This zoning map shows the property as commercial general with CG on all sides. Commercial general zoning requires a specific use permit for a medical marijuana dispensary to operate here. And with that, is there any questions for staff?
Counselors? All right, this time I'll open the public hearing. I don't have anyone sign up to speak on this item. Are you here to speak on the item?
I'm representing the engineer.
Oh, okay.
If you have any questions.
We have any questions for the engineer? Thank you for being here. At this time, I will close the public hearing. and ask if there's a specific, if there's a planning commission recommendation on the item.
Yes, Planning Commission recommends approval by a vote of 5-0.
Counselors?
Motion to accept planning commission's recommendation to approve the specific use permit for property located at 524 West 6th Avenue.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the SUP. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, that item is approved. I thought somebody was going to vote no in memory of
I know.
Counselor Wedlake.
That's right.
Just for fun. All right. Takes us to item 7A, resolutions. Resolution CC-2022-01, a resolution of the Stillwater City Council determining that the 6th Avenue corridor study is in conformance with the Stillwater 2030 C3 Comprehensive Plan for the City of Stillwater, approving and adopting the 6th Avenue corridor study and approving the 6th Avenue corridor study as a supplement to the comprehensive plan. Do we have anyone planning to speak on the matter? No? All right. Counselors? Questions about the resolution? This is we covered the plan in a meeting last month.
Yeah.
Sometime. It's since been through the Planning Commission, who I assume adopted the,
Yes.
or recommended adoption?
Yes, they recommended 5-0.
Yes. All right. Any questions or comments about the corridor study?
I was really encouraged that a spokesperson from Vibrant Stillwater was here in support of this resolution tonight. I do think it's so very important to take that good work, the public process that went into that study, and the consulting work that went into that study to help us kind of vision that corridor and to mark our intention by supplementing our comprehensive plan with that study. I think even though not everything in there might come to bear the way that it's in there, I think marking our intention that we want to build these public spaces in these ways and demonstrating to the community that this is what we're visioning, this is what we want to see in our community, I think is really important, and having it in the comprehensive plan is a good reminder. It won't sit on a shelf to kind of be harkened back or remembered later on. It'll be connected to a core document for our community. So I think that's really important. I'm thankful that that was the recommendation that came from the consultant on this work.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's good that we got out ahead of this 6th Avenue reconstruction in this way. Like you said, it's not necessarily this is exactly what 6th Avenue is going to look like at some point in the future, but given that we've got a couple of years now to kind of use this and use it as a roadmap to make a really bad pun, I suppose, it is an example of future planning that we really need to be intentional about and to kind of be ready for what's going to come next. So I'm excited about it. I think certainly the road markings, the transportation, the alternative transportation corridors and that sort of thing, clarifying that for sure will pay a lot of dividends when the 6th Avenue project gets underway.
I think it bodes well, too, for the collaboration that we'll have with Oklahoma Department of Transportation, ODOT, as we move forward with this project, which is always a good thing when you're working with a state entity, that you've got that partnership and collaboration that'll happen. So, we're good.
Yeah.
And I love that it's an ambitious plan. I mean, there's a lot of pieces to it, and again, it's an ambitious plan. So I think that will be great for the future.
Good. All right. Well, if there's no further comment, is there a motion on the resolution?
Motion to adopt Resolution CC-2022-01.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, Resolution CC-2022-1 is adopted. Takes us to ordinances. On first reading, we have ordinance 3487, an ordinance rezoning a tract of land located at 1223 South Husband Place from CG Commercial General District to RSS Small Lot Single Family Residential District. Again, this is an item from one of our December meetings. Any questions or a motion on the ordinance?
Motion to advance ordinance number 3487 to second reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advance the ordinance. Please vote. With a vote of 4 to 0, that ordinance is advanced to second read. Next up, ordinance 3488, an ordinance closing a general utility easement located in the northeast quarter of Section 14, Township 19 North, Range 2 East of the Indian Meridian, City of Stillwater, Payne County, Oklahoma, on property addressed as 711 North Main Street.
Motion to advance ordinance number 3488.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advance the ordinance to second read. Please vote. With a vote of 4 to 0, that ordinance is advanced. Man.
Might not
that
much you
takes
can
us to
say after
reports
that.
from
Yeah,
officers and
exactly.
boards. All right, Ms. Carnley.
Nothing to report.
Mr. McNichol.
I have two items, Mayor. Patty, would you, while I read this one, would you step out and retrieve? This is an update from ODOT regarding the road work on Highway 177 or Perkins Road. Contractor is currently working on drainage plus curb and gutter work on the northbound outside lane. They're first doing what needs to be done out of the roadway to lessen impact on traffic. They will continue to work their way northward before doing the same work on the southbound lanes. Work on the main travel lanes is expected to begin by spring. That's a dangerous stretch of road. It was before the construction started. It is even more so now. We'd encourage people to really watch lane changes and left-hand turns, and to not follow the person in front of you too closely. If we could get Sergeant Hoffman to step up to the podium for just a second. Tomorrow will be Sergeant Hoffman's last tour after 38 plus years with the City of Stillwater as a police officer. More importantly, he has been your guardian angel for the last how many years? Several
years.
almost every Monday night that you meet. And I just wanted to get him in here to say that he's been a faithful servant of the citizens and of the council, and certainly we appreciate his service and wish you the best in your retirement.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure.
Sergeant Hoffman stands outside the chambers, so people don't see him necessarily, but we so much appreciate his service here and his long service to the City of Stillwater. All right, councilors, Vice Mayor.
Yes, the city is hosting a public meeting on January 18th to discuss local drainage conditions, localized flooding, and other drainage concerns. The meeting begins at 5:30 p.m. in the Community Center, Lowry Activity Center. All input is appreciated and will be used to aid in the city's pre-disaster mitigation grant project and the development of the Stillwater Creek Watershed Management Plan. Those unable to attend can send an email to stormwater@stillwater.org or fill out a comment form located in the City Hall lobby. A great opportunity to think about this because we all know when it rains we have these issues. So this is very good to get input and get some knowledge on what can be done.
And, for those folks who have localized flooding in their area when it rains, those are, bring that to the city's attention so that it
Absolutely.
can be included in the plan.
Yep.
Councilor Hawkins?
Throughout 2021, the Stillwater Fire Department responded to 3,888 calls, which is over 1,000 more than the previous year. Animal welfare took in 918 dogs, 643 cats, and completed 486 adoptions. The Stillwater Police Department responded to 20,302 calls. These are just a few numbers that reflect the city's dedication to providing a safe and secure community for all the residents. Thank you to all of our public safety departments, and we look forward to another great year in 2022.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Councilor Jaloski?
Yes. Stillwater's mayoral election and propositions for the transportation sales tax and visitors tax are approaching. We encourage every registered voter to participate, support their candidate, and make their voice heard. The voter registration deadline is January 14th. Requests for an absentee ballot will need to be made by January 24th, and Election Day is on February 8th. Contact the Payne County Election Board for additional information. That is fast approaching. We're just a couple of days away for voter registration deadline.
This week. All right. Stillwater Community United will have their annual Unity March to commemorate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on Monday, January 17th. All residents are encouraged to join the march. The march leaves from Southern Woods Park at 1 p.m. and will end at the OSU Spears School of Business. From there, OSU will begin their MLK celebration, which includes several speakers and an additional march route through campus. City offices will be closed in observance of the MLK holiday, but trash and recycling will be collected as usual. Anything further, counselors? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the city council meeting. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, the Stillwater City Council is now adjourned. This time, I will call to order the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting for January 10th, 2022. On the consent docket, we have approval of regular meeting minutes and a poll attachment agreement with Blue Peak. Questions, comments, or a motion?
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, the consent docket is approved. I have nothing further on this agenda. Are there any reports from the officers of the board?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
With a motion and a second, please vote. With a vote of 4-0, the SUA is now adjourned. Next up, Stillwater Economic Development Authority meeting for January 10th, 2022. I'll call the meeting to order. We have regular meeting minutes on the consent docket. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
With a motion and a second, please vote. Consent docket is approved by a vote of 4-0. Under general orders, item 5A is consider recommendations from the Tax Increment Financing District Number 3 Policy Implementation Committee to approve small business enhancement assistance for facade improvements to Merrifield Office Supply in the amount of $15,000 and authorize staff and special counsel to enter into a small business enhancement agreement with Merrifield Office Supply. Melissa Reams.
Good evening, trustees. Melissa Reams, Deputy City Manager. As the mayor read off the title, the agenda title, I am here this evening bringing a recommendation from your TIF Implementation Policy Committee to award funding support to Merrifield Office Supply in their endeavors to improve the exterior of their building. Merrifield has been an anchor store in the 600 block of Main Street for many years, and it's time for a little refresh, facelift. The proposed improvements include painting, new awnings, lighting, signage, and new storefront glass. The committee and your staff found that this project meets the objectives of preserving and enhancing the tax base, encouraging property owners to invest or reinvest in their property, and creates a vibrant downtown. So with that, we are bringing this recommendation to make funding available to Merrifield not to exceed $15,000. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Melissa. Trustees, questions?
Melissa, can you explain the, sorry, how did you characterize this funding again? I just lost my train of thought. The small business enhancement financing. Can you explain? It's different than some of the things that we've seen.
It is a little different. It is a subset of just general business assistance. The implementation committee has segregated $150,000 of a total $5 million, sorry. It's late and there's lots of zeros. $5 million budget for this overall bigger pot. and $150,000 was to go to small business enhancements. They are generally exterior in nature, and while they don't add sales tax to the TIF pod or encourage new business, they do improve the downtown, and that lifts the tax base up for everybody. I think it also encourages their neighbors to do and to reinvest, and so that was one of the objectives here. The way the implementation committee looked at that funding is they allocated $50,000 to fiscal year 21, another $50,000 to fiscal year 22, and then a third $50,000 to fiscal year 23. The fiscal year 21 money was not spent. They did look at one application, and it did not meet the goals of the project plan, so they declined to recommend funding for that one. So Merrifield is our first, but I have no doubt they will not be the last. And as we're, we've got money there to deploy, and so that's kind of how that all works.
I'm really grateful for that explanation. It's kind of exciting to see an existing business that will benefit from this TIF project, and that the planning committee had the foresight to kind of sit and allocate some funds specifically for our existing business community. I know sometimes when we're experiencing growth and trying to attract new economic development into our community, some of our existing businesses say, what about me? And I think this is a great chance to talk about, this is something that we could do to help support local businesses here. I loved reading the letter from Merrifield's owners.
And Sarah is here with us this evening, Sarah Duckworth.
Apologizes for not being here.
Oh, not at all.
Furniture stuff unheated, and then he was watching football with his father. They don't have too many opportunities to do that. But just to speak to what it would help bring to the community in terms of money and funds. Last time we redid our storefront and moved to a larger building next door to where we were previously, and it's been, many, many years ago, we saw a giant increase in our business. And I think it's just because people like to do business with other people that are successful, and they see you doing good things and neat things and looking nice and presentable, and it just kind of brings up that image, and it helps us. And there's been so many wonderful furniture projects. We just did Oklahoma Closing and Title, and it's beautiful. And I think that our storefront's just not indicative of, it doesn't indicate the type of work, the quality that we're able to do, and we have been doing. So I would like to get it back up to snuff. But I'm happy to answer any questions. I brought paperwork with me if you have any specifics. Anybody?
I would just say that in all the times I've worked with Merrifields, and there's been quite a few, you all always go above and beyond
Thank you.
expectations, and so I think it's wonderful that the community can support you all as well.
Well, we're so grateful for the application and the ability to apply, so. Okay, thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you for being here.
All right, so the recommendation is to accept the proposal from the Tax Increment Financing District Number 3 Policy Implementation Committee to approve the Small Business Enhancement Assistance for facade improvements to Merrifield Office Supply in the amount not to exceed $15,000, and authorize staff and special counsel to enter into a small business enhancement agreement with Merrifield Office Supply.
Thank you, Melissa. Trustees, further comments or questions? I would just point out that this fund is available to fund up to 50% of the project cost. So this $15,000 is actually less than half of what is projected to be a $33,000 project in total. Merrifields is making this investment as well, right? This is not just the city coming in to do this. This is a partnership, a public-private partnership to have this work done. And I appreciate your comments on not only does this enhance your business, but also the businesses around, right? I mean, this business is right off of 6th Street, right? So someone coming onto Main Street, this is one of the first buildings they pass. That view and the visibility of this building is important to that person, whoever's coming down Main Street. Their entire view of that block and the blocks following. And so it's important from our standpoint that the Main Street and that these businesses have the look and, you know, that they're up to current standards and are presenting a good look for our Main Street. So we really appreciate the fact that Merrifields is willing to make this investment in their own business and to have the TIF come along to help. So
I think it's really one of those situations where all boats rise, right?
Yep.
When we improve downtown, I think everyone downtown and the whole community sees that improvement and experiences it.
And I think it's good to point out that there is more money available in this fund for other business owners who'd like to see have similar improvements done on their storefronts in the area. All right, further comments, questions, or is there a motion on this item?
Motion to accept the staff recommendation for the, do I need to read it again?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Motion to accept staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendation and award these funds. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0, that item is approved. Looking forward to seeing the improvements. Thank you. That takes us to the end of the SEDA agenda. Any comments or questions from the board or the officers? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn SEDA. Please vote. With a vote of 4-0. That's over here on this one, so. The Stillwater Economic Development Authority is now adjourned, and that concludes our meetings for the evening. Thank you all.